Igama Oyama Vanto. I work here at Mbda as a project manager, specifically on the creative and cultural industry development of the Mbda. The Mbda is an agency of the municipality, so we are wholly owned by the municipality. We are the baby of the municipality. And our core function and core mandate is urban regeneration. So we are a special projects unit of the municipality. So our clear focus and clear mandate is on catalytic projects. So that's our function as the Mbda. So last year we looked at what is that as Mbda we can do in the inner city, and then one of the core things that we figured, look, if we buy a property in the inner city, we renovate, that will bring a lot of change in the inner city. So that was an opportunity with the Aberdeen's building, up Russell Road. That area is crime infested. I think it's a similar process as here in the Bargains Valley, where the Tremors building we are in now was in a terrible state. It was a bad area, crime-ridden area, but our presence here has changed this area. So same format, same principle with the Aberdeen's building. So our presence there, we're not 100% sure exactly what the content of in the building will be. There's still a lot of talks and negotiations. So in my thinking, I think that space will offer a fantastic opportunity for the artists in the city. I see there's spaces for studio spaces, dance studio spaces. I see it as that. Craft studio spaces. I see it as an opportunity for the creative sector to find a hub of convergence, right? So that's our presence in the area, in the building. So we needed to do some kind of an activation of the building. And in my mind came a mural artwork, which we will then do. So the significance of the mural artwork, which is done by Ubuntu and Ubanela. I looked at the, because in my mind and in my thinking, it's a fantastic opportunity for a creative and a cultural space, right? So if you look at the patterns of the artwork, there are some small symbolisms of Xhosa patterns in them, right? So for us, we wanted to then make a cultural statement in the building. I see there are these big buildings in the city as an opportunity for us to do artwork which speaks to us in terms of the city. So I saw an opportunity for me to do something like that in the building. So on the both ends of the building, because the project it began just before the lockdown, right? So we thought, what then can we do to highlight the impact of COVID-19? So on the both ends of the building, as we're coming up Russell Road, we will do an artwork which is a symbolism of the frontliners who are in the fight of COVID-19 as you come up Russell Road, and we'll do the same on the big wall as you come down from Rain Street down. So, but the entire building, we made some kind of a symbolism of the Xhosa patterns to highlight or expand on the fact that I view that space as a cultural space. I view it as an opportunity for us to find a home for the young entrepreneurs in the creative space. So that's basically why we're there in the area. And I think most importantly, the fact that as it is now, it's a high crime area, right? So we will gauge our progress in that space if we change that. So we have to change the building itself. We must bring in people in there for the content, but the area around the building must transform. So I think as Mbda, that's one thing that we are very strong in. Our presence, it brings a lot of change, as we've done in the inner city, as we've done in the Bargains Valley precinct. And I think if we are given a chance, we can do a similar thing in that area.
Look around, what you see doesn't tell you anything about me. Look around, what you see doesn't tell you anything about me. Roll that paintbrush, tell the stories about us. Tell the stories about us. Roll that
Again, I think for me, we are, as the city, we are sleeping on the creative content we have, right? And the inner city still hasn't been a transformed space. We come in here to do our work and then we leave. And you then come to realize that we used to live here. That's one thing that bothers me. We used to live here, so we are forcibly removed away from the space. And there's nothing in the inner city that says me. It's not welcoming to me and my culture and my heritage, etc. It's not welcoming, right? There's a very strong protectionist unit for colonial infrastructure, colonial artworks, colonial murals. So for me, it's my personal mission to drive content that speaks to who we are as people. And for me, I'm not just saying that I want to drive a specific agenda. I'm just saying it has to be a transformed city reflective of all of its citizens. Khoi, Sens, Xhosa, all of us, we must be reflected in the city. And right as it stands now, we are not. So we are told we must humble ourselves, accept the big Queen Victoria statue in front of the library, a big thing which is a tourism thing, because I would imagine a lot of tourists who come in the inner city who are Europeans, they come to see these things that are a reflection of who they are. And I understand that for tourism, and I'm not saying you demolish all of these things. All I'm saying, the same strength that you put in to support those things, same effort must be given to us as artists in the city, because we are the voice of the society. We keep the time capsule, because if you want to know more about a certain period or a certain era, you look at the music, you look at the books, you look at the films produced, you look at the visual arts displayed. So the artists are the time capsule for a specific period. So that's who I always look into to tell the story of who we are as a society. And if you look at the inner city, our inner city, there's a lot of big buildings that I see. I don't see old buildings. I see a canvas that we can paint these things. We can change the format. We can rewrite stories. But again, it has to be a city-driven thing. So a lot of the properties in the inner city are not owned by the municipality. That's one. So all of those things are privately owned. But I feel we have to drive that discussion. And I think the artists have to be in the forefront. And since our work we are doing at the Aberdeen's building at the moment, there's been, I think, 2 or 3 I've received from the private owners of buildings in the inner city who are interested in using artists to tell the stories. So it took one effort, and I think more of those things, we can change the shape, we can rewrite stories so that the city is reflective of who we are as the people. And for me, I feel it has to cater to the youth. And I feel that's the group that is left out in many things, in politics, in economics, in support. The youth group is left out. We keep talking about youth, and I think even myself included. We mention the support of young people and creative people, but then there's no action. I haven't seen a strategic, structural action to change that. It's all in our narratives. It's all in the politicians' narrative. It's all in the business narrative. But what are they actually doing? So I see the Aberdeen's building, same way I've seen the Athenian building, as a space. And for me, I feel those have become a natural space for young people to come in. So now you have them in this space, then what do you do? And it cannot just be an Mbda call, Mbda task. It's everyone's task in the city. All directors must be involved. And I feel if you can do that for the Aberdeen's building, again, I speak under correction, I'm the only one who feels this way. The Mbda hasn't decided what the Aberdeen's building will be used for yet. There's still many discussions, but for me, I still say opportunity for the creative and cultural industries there, studio spaces there, dance studio spaces there, visual arts, exhibition spaces, it has that feel to it for me. And I think if we can drive that, a lot of young people are in the creative space in any case. So rather use that, bring them in, empower them in development and upskill them, but give them spaces for them to work. And I think that's one of the things in the inner city which we lack. We haven't been proactive in giving you, the artist, spaces to work and allow you the opportunity to tell our stories. And I think our culture is hidden in your talent. So for me, if I want to look at where society is, even in countries that I've been, I always look at the films that they're producing and the music, the books. That's where you get to know about who people are as a society. And in my recent visit to South America, they have a very strong public art mural there. So when you walk in the inner city, then you get a sense of who the people that are living here are. And here, empty canvases that I feel we have to engage. And I think for me, the downside then is that the city does not own a majority of the buildings. Why is that? How can we change that? And how can we then rope in the private owners of these buildings to also come and have this interesting conversation to how we can paint the images of who we are, all of us. I'm not just saying for one group, but I'm saying allow us opportunity to also engage with the spaces, because I feel we have a lot more to say, especially if you focus on young people and not just use that as a rhetoric, but do something. I feel we haven't done enough. We're not doing enough. We're all trying in small corners, but I feel if we can all just integrate the effort, just narrow our focus, that stuff will then harden our blow. Because right now I feel we're all punching in different spaces and there's no impact we're making. But if you can just narrow the focus, man, just zoom in, I'm sure we'll harden the blow. So that's the long and the short of it.
Doesn't tell you anything about me. Roll that paintbrush, tell the stories about us.